We're here, episode 51. We're back. We started a bit late, everyone. But since this is recorded, you wouldn't know. We're starting a bit late. But yeah. And crazy in the morning. Not that crazy, just, like setting up. Because I don't have this set up at home. Yeah, set up. So how's the week, Adam? What happened last week?
Busy week for us. Busy week. So I just let's see. Guys is well into her new job. She's got her first.
Oh yeah.
Assignment.
I asked her about that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing really good. I can tell like the stress level has come like down
way lower.
Of course, she's still in like training phase where you're like still getting system access and probably just shadowing people. So it could change, but she works with a lot of people that are much older.
Okay.
Like there's more, just generally a slower pace, and their systems are kind of
stable already.
Not stable, but it's less of a fast-paced environment, and like they have like their documentation requirements are way less apparently. So it could be a good thing. And then So I'll pause there. I think she likes it.
Yeah, I will ask her when she gets done with stuff and joins us. But I keep hearing that comment though, like every people like from our company moving to another, they always say like the documentation is way less because from company I work for, there's always a lot of like documents that you need to like complete before even tagging this one as done. So that's always like a common, which is a good thing if you're leaving the company. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
it's always,
it's and I think every company's different. I mean,
they have their own
pros and cons.
Things to like. They have their own priorities. Like they have their own stuff that are important to them that are not compared to other companies. So yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing though for our listeners. Not saying it's bad that there's less documentation, but yeah.
You should probably document something.
It shouldn't be zero. It shouldn't be none.
Should be none.
It should be written.
There's a sweet spot.
It should be written somewhere.
Please. But then on my end, just to share, like within the past week, I kind of we had some organization shifts at my company, and I just found out that I'm going to be managing a team.
Oh, that's like both good and bad news. No.
Yeah, I think it's good news. I am a little bit nervous about like I've never managed people. I've never done like one-on-ones and reviews and stuff like that. And I've never hired anybody, which we'll have to hire some people. So I might be going Chris Williamson like heavy with like how to become a leader. And Jocko.
You should go Jocko with that. Yeah. You should go Jocko with that stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna come in like a Navy SEAL team.
Good.
Like Adam.
Adam, I'm behind. Good.
Well,
you keep saying
work hard. It should be hard. I'm doing push-ups and stuff, and pull-ups.
Yeah, you have a team meeting and then you install, like if you're working on site, you install like a pull-up bar in your meeting room, and then you always get in like just 5 minutes earlier, and then when they got in, you're like doing push-up. Yeah, and you're like a 98, 99. What was it? 100 push-ups? No, I started 90.
Yeah, I started 90. I keep counting since the very first time I did a push-up. I just keep counting. So every time I come back, it's just a continuous count.
95 of my entire life. Yeah, 96.
That's good. But yeah, so I'm. There's like I know that I have it in me. It's one of those situations where like we think you're ready, Adam. We think you can do it, but I never asked for it. So it's like maybe it's the universe telling me that I'm ready, but what about you?
Well, work is a bit, I wouldn't say slow. It's,
don't jinx it.
I won't jinx it, and I don't want to like tell too much about, because there's some like some specifics in the project that I don't even want to be in a podcast like just fits of it, because it's like a critical part of the project where is it getting extended? Those kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's why there's parts that are slow. And well, I've been, I think it's just for the past year where I have like people, like reporting to me and stuff. And it's not, I don't know how, because they might, if they're listening right now, I'm not sure how to like
Oh yeah,
say
no,
this.
you don't have to go into it.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's a different challenge because it's not just like it's a transition. It's not just you anymore, right? It's not just your targets. It's if everyone's targets you need to meet, and then if they're not meeting it, you have to like it's your problem too. It's kind of your what you call this. Jock always says like it's your accountability. You have accountability over your team, so you have to think about that too. It's not just you, which is it's a good thing. It's a good experience. Like it's added stress, but yeah, it's a good thing. It's also fulfilling if everyone completes their stuff and with your help. Yeah.
You get sometimes you got to fall on the landmine for your team. Like take the blame.
Too, yeah.
In order to like protect them. But how do you know when? So here's one of the biggest challenges I've found, because I recently led this like project, which is why they gave me this, I believe, and I had to lead a team of my peers, so they weren't subordinates. We were all the same level, but they're like, Adam, you're in charge, and I found like, man, it's kind of challenging to manage a team where like we had a very type A, like incredibly smart but like very opinionated person, and like how do you within the group, and like how do you overrule somebody who's like very strong-willed, may even be right, but it's not the right decision at the time. That's tough for me because I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to make people upset or offend people, so sort of I don't think I was I think I could have inserted myself a little bit more and been a little bit more what's the word, like assertive, I guess. With like, I think, I don't know if this is a quote I found somewhere else, but in some like fast-paced environments, it's better to make an okay decision early than to wait too long for the right decision to be presented. Like make the decision now. If it's right or wrong, you can sort of fix it later. But if you sit around and don't make any decisions, then it's worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm feeling does.
It's like, not in all situations, but yeah, it does. I've heard some leadership in our company say that, but it can be taken out of context too if you're talking to someone who doesn't really understand the situation. Yeah. Like I can give an example. Like one of our leaderships, there's like talks, like our leadership like conducts talks with people and stuff, and then it was in a crowd, and then she was saying, it's better to be fast than perfect. That's her thing. But the context is it's on opportunities, right? It's like someone's asking you, hey, do you know how to do this? And then usually if you're a Filipino in our culture, we don't really say yes. Like we always like the underdog at first, like, I think it's possible that we do this, blah, 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 blah. And then turns out we're actually like, she says that like, actually we're actually good. Like we know how to figure that out. We might not know how to do it yet, but we have an idea how to do it. So at that point, it's better to say like, yes, we're able to do it than just say, I'll get back to you. Because in contrast, there's some, she was even saying like some cultures where someone asked them, hey, do you know how to do this? They always say like, yeah, of course I know how to do that. And then the opportunities given to them and in reality were actually better than them. So the opportunity is lost because you were like, I'm not sure I can do that, but I have an idea about it. But no, so that's why she was saying like it's better to have to say like, it's better to be fast at that point. Like there's an opportunity, just say yes, you can do it, and then even though it's not perfect, just say yes, so that you wouldn't lose the opportunity. But it's a certain situation, right? You're not, if you're fixing stuff and then it's not better to be fast because you put them, right. Yeah. So it's in context.
Like
the reason I just
that's perfect. I love that.
I just brought it up because someone, I think it's in the same room, then that person, I don't know it specifically because she asked it like anonymously. So it's in another setting, like another event. Someone asked like, "Oh, this leadership said it's better to be fast than perfect. So what do you think about this?" And then there's no context, right? So I felt bad about like, no, that's not what she meant. Like, 'cause of course the other leadership's gonna say like, no, actually, it's better to be perfect. Oh, you have to be right at stuff, you know. And I understand they're gonna say that because, of course, you're not. If in their mind they might be like, if you're sending a fix, you're not gonna send an imperfect fix, or at least you have to be like the best at what we can do right now because I'm gonna break something. And then my mind was like, no, that's not what she meant. She was saying about talking about like opportunities. Like we need more opportunities to be on our way rather than like you keep pushing it off because you don't know it perfectly yet, where in the future you will know it. So it's a different thing. Yes. But I just felt bad about that because
the
she
key word
didn't.
is sometimes. The key word is sometimes.
There are certain situations,
perfect. And you got to know, like, that's part of being a good leader is knowing when to be fast and when to be perfect. And like this gentle science of like what? I'm assuming.
No. I
don't know after the answers.
I'm not in that world anymore.
I know. You told that. I told him about your how.
What?
I talked briefly about your new role. You like it?
Oh yeah.
It's more slower pace.
Yeah. So if there's like a windmill of stress, it's like the windmill's like so slow for you. It's not really shh. It's a
I would just say that I should. I don't know.
Don't say anything that's might.
It was.
because we have people listening to this that
let's just
colleagues.
move on.
I feel. I just felt like I did the right decision for myself.
Yeah.
For myself. Speaking
which is good.
Based on, my situation and my experience, that where I am right now is, I'm happy and it's a perfect situation.
Yeah. So it's like it's not for everyone. Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
It's not on all the time.
For me.
Yeah.
And I'm,
Yeah.
I would just say I'm in a good place.
That's good. For most people, yes. For most people, yeah. Yeah. So this is what life feels like. You're really like that, or you like you started working. Oh, so this is what life feels like.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
There's still the honeymoon
This is free
phase.
time. Wow. This is free time.
No,
I'm joking.
But
when you join a new job, though, there's a honeymoon phase. Where
I
you're
am.
in love with it.
Let me just say this: I am the youngest person in the team. A lot of people are very tenured.
I mean, you're super old too.
Well, huh?
And you're super old.
Yeah, I'm super old.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah. That just.
How old are you exactly? I'm just kidding.
I'm 30 plus. You don't need to know the exact number, but.
No, it's an old team, and a good. I think more importantly, it seems like good people. Fully remote, which is another plus.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed that Glyza is, she's looking towards the horizon. She's breathing the air deeper in her lungs.
Literally.
She's feeling the earth
literally
under her feet.
Yeah.
And
it's more in the moment now.
She's listening to me more. and she's appreciating my wonderful contributions to her life. So I've benefited too. And a high tide raises all ships. Right? Can I get an amen?
Yeah.
Speaking of amen,
high tide raises all ships.
High tide raises all ships.
Except when it's wrecked, right?
When you bring the spirits up, stop.
Except
when it's wrecked. I mean,
yeah.
I want to go back to what you said.
A functioning ships, not like
a functioning ships. Oh my God, not shipwreck ships, not Titanic. Anyway, but back to what you said, like it's better to be right, or it's better to be fast than perfect. It reminded me exactly of so my dad is an entrepreneur. He owns a business. And when they were growing in a growth phase, his business partners would always be hesitant to accept new business that's like bigger than they've ever done before. that would challenge, you know, could they do it? Could they even handle this client? And my dad would always say yes. The chance can you do this for us? Yes. And then you go back to his business partner. He's like, why'd you say yes? He's like, we're going to figure it out. This is going to motivate us. And they always figured it out. They always adjusted and hired more people, or, you know, bought a new technology. Like, they did what they had to do to get it. But if he hadn't have said yes, they would have never been motivated to grow in order to accommodate it. So that's another.
But there is also
another example of like saying yes, we can do it, and then figuring it out can also benefit you. It's the way you grow.
Okay.
Can I go to jiu-jitsu class? I've never been.
So you just have to.
Yes, I'll go. I'll figure it out later.
Okay.
Anyway,
Never mind.
it's like I interrupted you 3 times.
Never mind.
It probably wasn't good anyway. I'm just kidding. I've been really.
Never mind.
I'm just kidding. I've been really.
No, that's actually a good thought. I'm reading this book. I haven't finished it yet. It's from, I think it's a famous book. It's Hidden Potential. I don't know if you've read Adam Grant. I think Adam Grant.
Ooh, good name. Good first name.
Yeah, it's probably a good author, right? Because it's an Adam.
Do you want a credit for that?
Most people named Adam are intelligent, smart, funny. You know.
Yeah,
charismatic.
Say like I think it's Adam Grant. I don't want to like Hidden Potential. I think it's a famous book because I had it. Yeah, Hidden Potential, Adam Grant. It's I had it as an audiobook before. It's not even an audiobook. It's from Blink because I have a Blink list. You know, the app that gives you like summaries, and then this was in there. So there's a 20-minute summary on it, and it's interesting for me. So that's why I got the book, but it's just a PDF, so I read it from time to time. So it's more of stories, or it's just well, it's the same. That's what like hooks you in, right? Like it says like hidden potential. How can people achieve hidden potential? And actually, there's a section in there for that part, like the perfection part. And then where that's always, but I just want to say like this specific point, there's a lot of like things in there that are good. It's more of the perfectionists, the people who are not perfectionists usually like get better like in the long run. Like they're actually like more skilled like years after. I think there's a study for like maybe students, no, and then one interesting point in there that I like, that keeps like, you know, I that really stuck in my mind is because being a perfectionist, if you're a perfectionist, you tend to focus on details that are like inconsequential, and that's like the downfall of it, because you get obsessed with those details. Whereas if you just, you know, just skip it and then move on, you'll actually grow. You'll have growth rather than being stuck to that. And then I think he pointed the reason for this is because, you know, when we were students, we have exams, right? And there's like out of 100, you get maybe 95, which is already a good score. But some people, if you're a perfectionist, you get obsessed with those like 5, right? Oh my God, what's this like 5? I had 5 items wrong. Whereas if you're, I mean, it's good in that sense because in an exam. So being a perfectionist is actually good if there's limits already, if the problems are familiar to you, so it's good that being a perfectionist helps. But if it comes to like learning, having new stuff like that will actually like hinder your growth rather than help you moving forward. So it's more of a, yeah, like I said, it's the same concept where it's like a balance, right? There's a time you need to be that what do you call this, OC of some details, and then there's time you have to like just skip and then move on with this stuff and this stuff. You don't have to be perfect all the time.
Yeah, I'm very much like do what you got to do, move on. You know, I think it always goes back to it depends, because there's no black and white answer to anything in life really. But if you if something's worth doing, you want to do it the right way. But like, okay, so let's think about like, I think it's fair enough to say that you guys work in the tech field and I work more on like the business side. So like if you take an idea that goes from a business group that defines the business need, and prioritizes it, and then sends it to the tech team for like a cost estimate and the work to be done. There's the business end of things has to move things along, and then the tech team has to move things along. But at the end of the day, when the work is done, I may be losing you here. The business and tech team have to get together and perfect it. So like that's like the life cycle of an idea coming through a business has to have both, like, let's move it along, let's not get it perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect now, to like the final state when it's all said and done will be this perfected state. But if you tried to perfect it too soon, right? You know?
No, because what you're gonna ask is what will be done. It's if you put it, if you give it to us.
So maybe the tech team
There's
is like the
no
perfectionists.
whatever is what you ask us to do, we'll do it. Nothing less, nothing more. Because if we add more that is not there, then that is out of scope, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the business side that
No,
isn't the perfectionist, and the tech team is.
It's the. I think what happens in those situations, if it's too big, so that's the new process right now, right? I think I don't want to say the process, but it's more of the idea. It's more of like breaking it down to like really small chunks, like so the business will see like, I need this part, so complete this. I need this part complete. So it's not, you're not gonna say like, I want a system that does this, blah blah blah, and then it gives you like a perfect. Oh no, not like the whole thing. So it's more of like breaking it down, because tech will be. It's easier for tech to just to complete me this specific stuff. Let's this. I'm saying just small, just because just to make the point, but it's not really a small thing. But it's more of like breaking down. Like if I put in this one, this should come out. So that's how to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't.
Sometimes, like if you ask for something, you thought about what you want, but you don't think about the other stuff that comes with it. And most of the time, when tech people or someone's doing it, it comes up, it arises like, what about this other stuff that leads to this stuff, because from your side, you're
That's
like,
me, sorry.
okay, I want this.
Like, what does that sound?
Huh?
No, it's my mic. It's my mic.
I want this report or whatever, or I want this page, but you didn't really put the specifics of the page, or like,
Yeah.
you just want this page, but you didn't define the other elements on that page. Like, how do you get it up? Do you want other, something that will make it make sense?
Yeah.
You're most of them on the business side is interested in the output.
Yeah. Maybe my example wasn't a good example, but I was trying to think of like a situation that would involve both ways of thinking. It's like we don't have to be perfectionists now. For a period of time, we have to just sort of get.
Yeah,
that's and then we can worry about being perfectionists later.
That's a perfect example. Like, you got an idea, you pass it on to the tech, and then the tech comes back to you and say, "Hey, I have so many questions." And you gave me a one line, like a one sentence stuff like, please give me this report,
I would
blah, blah, blah. What is the criteria of this report? What are, what the fields or the other information? And you just, all the other criteria that has to be in that report, stuff like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think that.
Go ahead.
No, because that goes to if that was like an opportunity, like let's say no one's really paying us for the report, and then someone's saying like, hey, can you make this report? And then of course in our minds, or tech, like in our minds gonna be like, oh, it's gonna do this, but what if this happens, what if this happens, blah blah blah. So of course our leadership's gonna say like, just say yes, just say you can do it, and then
yeah.
right, and then like,
there's also like a tendency of like,
yeah,
over promising, under delivering.
Yeah, you maybe want to under promise, over deliver, ideally.
Yeah. But of course, we should keep it in a sense like you should at least have the skills, right, to do
Yeah.
it. Like, it's not really it's not really a fake it till you make it kind of thing, because you're committing something. So at least you have you do, yeah.
Hope not. Let's hope not.
Yeah.
But it's all fascinating. I think like discussions like this really help me.
Appreciate the tech people.
Well, appreciate that. I wasn't going to say that, but maybe I should say that. I do appreciate the tech people. No, it just helps me frame like the way to think about like business, and like I told him that I'm going to start managing a team, so I'm like obsessing over like leadership qualities.
You're really like thinking about this because you shared it in here.
I know I'm thinking about it. I'm taking it serious because I think it's a big deal.
Or what I meant was like you're not scared, are you? Or you're just nervous?
I'm not nervous or scared. I'm excited, I would say.
Or anxious.
But like, it's like, like you got a really good book that you read the first 5 pages and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to read the rest of this book, but I can't start on the book yet. So I'm like, well, how's it going to end? Like, and so I just have to, I can't wait to go to work and like sit down and do it. You know, it's excitement. It's not scared or anything.
Okay.
You know, it's also I think there's any have you heard of the imposter syndrome thought or whatever it is, or the term?
Yeah,
it's true. Like for me, at every stage of my life, it's like I don't think that they know that I'm just that I'm a total imposter. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm completely lost at everything I do, and somehow I've succeeded my way here.
I think that happens when you start something. Like I'm feeling that right now. Like, am I the right fit for this role?
Yeah.
That's because you don't know anything yet. You don't know what you're doing, and you have to gain cadence and experience to get you in a groove.
And it's like, how long can I make it until they find out that I'm a fraud? And I know that's a little like, dramatic, but you know, like there's like that level of thinking sometimes, like, man,
it turns out you're not a fraud, right? It's as you like as time you can say like, oh, I can actually figure this out. But not to
maybe
to let that absorb you though. You still
What's that?
Fake it to make it for just.
I'm gonna make it till I fake it.
Fake it. Yeah, it's more of like trust, like finding comfort in uncomfortable situations. And that's also from the book as well. Like, I think I'm gonna murder the book. I'm gonna finish it first before gonna share a bunch of stuff about it. It's good if you have time to. If you have an audiobook for it, it's good. You can just listen to it. They're telling stories.
I need it. Yeah. So, say the. I know you said the name, but what's the name again?
It's Hidden Potential by Adam Grant. Yeah. There's even like a story. I'm just gonna share this a bit. Bear with me because it's interesting for me. It's just the one paragraph in the book. He was saying it's still about those perfectionist stuff. There's actually a Japanese term name called like wabi sabi. Like you're gonna think like wasabi, right? Or
I thought immediately of sushi.
Yeah, it's wabi sabi. It's I think the meaning is like finding beauty in imperfections. And then it started. I don't know. I think this was shared like as a legend. I don't know if the legend is true. It's just a story about those tea makers or something, like tea party or tea something. But yeah, there's like a student who looking for a master in preparing tea. So and then this student is looking for a master, and he found this master, and then the master said like the first thing he needed to do is clean the yard, like clean my yard. That's what the master said. So of course, if you're the student, he was trying to get the master's approval. He cleaned it very well, looks so perfect, like rake the leaves and stuff. So there's no like it will be pristine. But just before he spent like hours cleaning like every inch of that yard. But just before he called the master, he looked at I think in the story was a cherry tree, like a cherry tree in Japan. He shook the tree so that some of the leaves will fall off the yard, and then he called the master, and then he was like, "Oh, this is like the perfect yard." So it's it's more of he was like, I think the lesson of that story is like finding like there's beauty in those like imperfections. So
Yeah.
like he was like not satisfied with like perfectly clean yard. He wanted he like put those like fallen leaves, just some fallen leaves just so it make it the perfect yard. So I think the concept is more, I don't know if that's true, I don't know if that really happened, but it's more of the, because I think it's that tea party stuff is more of like it's in it's part of the culture where even the glass is a bit chipped, or even the, so that's their like thing. There's like some imperfections, and then it's more of embracing those stuff in everything, or finding the beauty in those stuff. And yeah,
I think it's a great way to, like, we have to find a way to make our barrier to happiness just paper thin. And I was saying that last week, like, make it easier to be happy. Don't make all these conditions, don't set all these conditions for your happiness. If you allow yourself to be happy at the shortest frequency possible, you're just going to be happy. Like, choose happiness always. And so embracing the life's imperfections and all that, and, you know, rolling with the punches and not letting a bad morning ruin the rest of your day, you know, is insane. Like, you just got to allow yourself to be happy, because what's the alternative? You know, like my coworker came to work today and she's like, "Oh my God, I had the worst morning. My neighbor's dog jumped on me with mud everywhere, and then I parked in the wrong parking garage, and my car got towed, and then you know, I got here and I forgot my coffee." I was like, "Man, it could all stop now. I mean, it ends like this is not an avalanche. You know, the rain is over. The rest of the day is bright and sunny for you. You know, you can switch it. You know, we're so quick to call things off and give up on things. Well, I think I've made enough points. I think I've
good. She should have said good.
Good and good.
Yeah,
and
neighbor's dog jump on me. Good.
Good. Oh yeah, but on you. Good. You changed clothes. But
Good.
but yeah, it goes back to what I was saying. Is the barrier to happiness needs to just be so small.
Yeah.
And enjoy the little things in life, because life is made up of little things. It's what you remember. Yeah. You don't like the vacations to Disneyland or the big, you know, wild adventures of your life only make up a very small percentage. You know, the rest of it is just daily interactions and drinking coffee and, you know, getting ready for bed and brushing your teeth. Like, you've got to find joy in those small moments, the imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yep. Good. So, sum it up. Welcome to your new job, Galay.
Yeah, yes. And welcome to your new, embrace whatever.
I did not sign up for this shit.
That was like that was your welcome. That was us like celebrating with you in your new job, right? Yeah.
I did not ask for that.
We're proud of you, babe. You know who else got a new job? A man in Chicago. He's now the Pope.
Nice.
Speaking of new jobs.
You know what people are saying? This is not a political thing, but JD Vance is the last person to see the old Pope, and then 2 weeks later we get an American Pope. There may be some next. What did he say? What did he do?
Yeah. Well, he's I don't know, because he is American, but I think most of his life as a priest and as a bishop is in as a missionary in Peru. Like, that's what I was. Did you get a chance to like read some of his stuff? He's an interesting guy. He's like he's a missionary in Peru like for years. I think he just got to the Vatican 2023. I think Pope Francis was calling cardinals around to be in the Vatican and then do these stuff. And then when they say some people, like there's seen videos on YouTube where they say he's a shy person, very shy, very silent, you know, very like thoughtful person. I think that's how I described him. This is just one cardinal saying, you know, he didn't say how they voted for it, because I think they're gonna reveal how the voting went, you know. But I think this one of the comments about this Pope is so like thoughtful. So
I'm really interested.
It only took 2 days.
Like in the process though. Like
Tell me what we watched.
Yeah, we watched Conclave, and it was.
Yeah, was it? I've read that, and then I'm not sure if that's actually because I've read some people saying that it's actually how conclaves happen, and then some people I also saw videos where no, it's not true. That's not how it happens. But I don't know. If I'm planning to watch it though because I was so interested.
It is
really good, and especially with the whole. It's on Amazon, at least in America, but with the environment that we're in, it's so fascinating because like
how do you vote for someone?
And you know the guy's brother, the new pope's brother, said that they watched Conclave a few days before he flew out.
Yeah,
yeah, giving him tips or something.
So they're watching it. I mean,
I'm pretty sure he was joking
to it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he was joking about like, oh, he was about to, just for tips and how.
Yeah,
because I've heard like one. Just a video, one of the cardinals, like he didn't even know the Pope. Oh, the Pope now, like he didn't know him then, which is and then I think it's more of their interactions at that time, and then how people are. Because some people, I think some cardinals already know him. It's like like the internal, and he's not even like on the top 5. I don't want to say top 5. It's not a pageant. There's a short list of like people speculating these are the Pope, blah blah, and then I think he's not even in there. I think that's also
why did they choose him?
Yeah,
that's so weird.
There's an internal campaign going on that we don't know because we don't know what's happening behind.
I thought you weren't. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Well, like there's always gonna be, they're talking.
They're humans too,
They're
but
talking like, I'm sure there's always like maybe if the movie Conclave it depicts the same way as what they're doing it in the actual Conclave, then it's like there's it's very political.
very political.
The Italians want an Italian pope, or the Americans would want an American pope.
Or the black guy, they don't want a black pope because
this is like a
slight racism.
Like progressive
versus conservatives.
Yeah, so it's
I would suggest watching we still have like 20 minutes left of it, but it's actually, and Voldemort, Ralph Fiennes,
Dude. Voldemort,
and Stanley Tucci,
Voldemort,
John Lithgow.
You were like, guys, like if Voldemort wasn't going after Harry Potter, he's like very good.
He's actually he's a good pope. I don't know how the movie ends, but he could be. I saw something as well, because obviously now people are learning everything about this guy's life. He was at one of the World Series games in 2005. And
that's fun.
In like the third inning or something.
He wasn't a cardinal yet, I guess.
No, 2005.
Probably not, because he was sent to Peru. I think most of his,
But in like the third inning, you know how in a baseball game they like have crowd shots of just random fans. He's one of the 2-second crowd shots. He's like in the bottom corner at the game, and people are like, "That's the Pope," and everyone's like, "How did you find this on?" A crowd shot from 2005.
God, people are so good, right?
Apparently, he posted. He has a picture somewhere that he was at the game, and then someone went back and looked at game footage.
It was like,
can we find
fun.
him? And then I'm sure his church was like saw him, and
they were really fun.
Cool.
It's funny because he's an Augustinian, and you're wearing a Saint.
He's Augustinian.
That's why I wore this shirt.
Is San Carlos an Augustinian? Or Jesuits?
I think they have their own, the SVD. That's their and then Jesuits is, I think, the Savior School. Jesuits.
Ateneo is Jesuits.
And then, I think
Ateneo, one big fight.
I
think the church that manages Santo Niño is Augustinian. Let me verify that.
They are Augustinian.
They're Augustinian. So it's
I'm more San Diego.
So the big one is Jesuits and Augustinians.
They're. I don't know. I only know them because of the schools, right? And they're like great schools.
I think, like here too. There's a lot of. So Villanova is a Catholic university where he graduated. It's an Augustinian school. There's a lot of Jesuit schools too here. I just don't know it.
So I was asking Glyza, if I committed my life to it right
Religious.
now,
Yeah.
like, is it possible that I could become Pope?
Pope, I'm not. It's,
Maybe you can
know.
become a
Priest,
priest. It
yes.
really depends on the order that you want to join in. If they're okay with you having kids or you were married once.
Yeah. Priest,
Very
yes, but Pope, I'm not sure. Like you have to, because that's the thing. There's still part of it. Like yeah, you can say like, oh, we're all people. They get swayed with politics, blah blah blah. But there's still that part of it. Like you're still believing that they're guided, right? That's they're not really voting for out of themselves, blah. So if you're really, I don't know, if you're really destined to be a pope, maybe
They
you get
want
to
the
be
Pope
pope someday.
to be perfect.
I
In a sense where they could, the Pope adheres
Yeah.
to like being celibate, not having children.
celibate.
Yeah.
I don't know that was part of it. I might be
For
out. I'm just kidding.
Catholic.
Couldn't do
What
that.
shit? Oh, yeah.
No, couldn't do that.
And if
No.
you become, maybe if you become cardinal, and then they're gonna, I'm gonna think, and then they're probably gonna play this podcast in the conclave. They're gonna be saying, "Yeah, do you want this?
Oh my god!
Want this guy to be pope?"
There's pictures from 2011 that'll ruin me.
It's gonna be like one cardinal's gonna be saying like, fellow cardinals, I want you to see this, and then you see Adam like, Chris Williamson is.
Yeah. But then when they say, "What do you have to say about that?" I'll just say, "Good."
Good.
I don't know.
No.
I was really just wondering, like, for some reason it didn't occur to me that an American could be Pope. It just seemed like, I know the other one was
Such a
Argentinian, and like,
European.
it just seems European,
Yeah.
straight up, like, or South American.
Yeah.
And people were saying like, well, what does his brother call him now? Does he call him Your Highness or whatever, or Your Holiness? Sorry. And they were like, no, like the previous Pope's family still called him Bob, or whatever.
Yeah, the name, his name, yeah. I think
name.
it's a big deal. It's not.
It sort of took a Pope being from America for us to sort of be reminded that the Pope is just a normal person. It's just a human being.
There's only been 2 popes that are from South America, though. That's Pope Francis and no, just one.
I asked Glyza, why do they all know Italian? And Glyza was like, that's the language that God speaks. I was like,
No,
God speaks
one.
Italian?
Like in the Catholic dogma.
Oh, I know. I'm just messing with you. She was like, that's God's language.
That's the first language he spoke, right? As Pope, he was speaking Italian, saying "Peace be with you," but it's in Italian.
Pizza marinara.
Yeah.
Have you tried like attending like an
Conta
Italian mass? It's like you attending a Bisaya
What
mass.
is going
It's like,
on here? For some reason, I
Really?
want pasta right now.
I think I attended 1 or 2 before. Like,
I've been to a
high mass or
Messiah
something.
mass, but that, honestly, all jokes aside, that mass, even though I didn't know any of the words, it was one of the most powerful ones I've ever been to, because in a way, removing the words, it left only the feelings.
Yeah, that's what I
have felt more because I wasn't too tied up in the words.
Yeah, that's what I felt when I had that Italian mass. Like, because, you just listening, even though you don't understand, it's like just, there's a rhythm to it or something.
Yeah, I looked at I could see the bird because it was an open, place, like a open, what do you call it in the Philippines?
What?
Temple?
What?
Not a
Church?
temple. Church. It was an open church. Open air.
What the what?
Like it wasn't
Open air.
a dojo. Whatever. It was an open church. Like it didn't have walls. Is there a word for that?
It had walls, baby. It had
No, but you know what I
railings.
mean. It was open air.
Oh, you just open at the sides, and then maybe at
yeah.
the back of the
So
altar.
I just not sure if there's a term for that, like open air.
I know,
structure.
ventilated.
It didn't have walls. Like it didn't have like,
window or
it wasn't closed in, so you could see birds come and land on the top, and that added to like the environment as well. It was pretty fantastic, as confusing as it was.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah. Can you hear yourself?
No.
Hello.
It should be one of the knobs in the P4
okay.
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I was adjusting.
I thought we.
No.
I thought we came
No,
back again.
but I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I mean, I was just saying, like, sometimes the connection to God doesn't have to be through the words. It can be through the feelings and the emotions and like the environment and the fact that you are there in a church pew with other people
It's called
who are feeling something.
I don't
It's
know
this
how-
residual effect from.
I don't know how to
else.
say it.
Yeah. It's the experience.
Deist.
D-I... No?
Deist, or what do you call that? How do you say it?
Deity?
Deist.
Look it up.
P. Diddy?
No, that's a different.
What?
Spelling it out to you.
I know-
Deist.
Someone who believes in
I...
a creator, God who set the universe in motion but doesn't intervene in its affairs or in human life.
Like you you believe that there's supreme being, but you believe it like in the ways of nature instead of ways of man.
Yeah, I
Like,
relate
not
to
a
that
very-
so much. Yeah, I
Like
feel God
you
everywhere,
don't go to church, but you know that there is God. You just
yeah.
don't practice it the way other people is practicing it through.
I would say I've become more spiritual in the last 5 years, and have gone to church less in the last 5 years than I have in any other time.
So you're
It's not necessarily like going to church is.
okay. So how do you say it again?
I'm
Deist.
unfamiliar with that word. I've never
I don't
heard it in my
know.
life.
I don't know how to. I think in that
Because an
AI read
atheist,
it.
you don't. It's
Yeah,
No,
to be atheist is weird.
no,
Maybe
no.
deist.
How can you believe in nothing? It makes no sense. There has to be something.
Deist.
Yeah, I've never heard of
Others
that word.
pronunciation. It's
Believes in supreme being,
oh no. Why there's an ad?
but does not believe in divine
deist.
intervention,
Deist?
miracles, or revelations. Not laws of nature is what they believe in. Deist. I think that's how you say
Oh, well, I
it.
believe in. I mean, I'm not necessarily that.
Deist. Okay. Deist.
Deist.
I've never heard of that. No, that's not me. But I mean, I'm versions of that though. I certainly feel it.
Yeah, it's interesting how that can, change the experience. No, changing. It's like a song and you don't know the lyrics. It feels sometimes it feels better
Like
because
that
you're more
other-
focused on other stuff rather than the lyrics.
You focus on the tonality and the environment and the mood. I mean, when I listen to music, the hairs on my arm stand up. I mean, I have like a full body experience to good music. It transports me.
Yeah.
I think I would relate that to a higher being. Like, what,
Yeah. What's
I
in
think
that, right?
that's the
What's in
best.
music that
That's
makes
the
us,
best type of communication with God. That is through the feelings and not through, because words can be misinterpreted. But when you
and mispronounced, or there's too many languages.
and the feeling is like really directed to like your soul,
Yeah,
then
just a beat can
yeah.
that's why like you're going to like an Italian mass or a Bisaya mass, it's just more of like being there and feeling it instead of just like
But I am glad that it's only an hour, because if it was like 3 hours long, I'd be
you're
okay.
lucky it's an hour.
it's
done.
too much. It's
Only
too
an
much
hour.
though. Yeah.
Too much.
It's too much.
It's the perfect
Yeah.
amount of time.
I don't know if it's still true or if ever was true that they've required priests to only have homilies that are
Shorter.
5 to 10 minutes long.
No, it's not. It's an advice by Pope Francis. I remember that him saying like about that. It's
No,
more
they-
of like
Oh, was it Pope Francis?
Oh, wow.
yeah, Pope
It was
Francis
like-
said that
it was like
shorten
back in-
your homilies. Yeah.
back in 2010.
It's like, make it shorter.
Okay.
You got to watch.
Yeah,
I
I
was
remember
in-
it. I remember it was kind of like trending in the like Pope
Because-
Francis was
You got to
saying
get
like
home and eat lunch, man.
Yeah. I had this like there was like instances like when I would go to mass and then the priest will just have a 30-minute homily.
That
So
was
an
very.
an hour and a half mass. Oh my gosh, I'm just falling asleep.
That was very common here. Oh yeah, it's very common here. I think it's even now. There's like priests who, because we have dawn masses. I know Adam knows this. Dawn masses, Misa de Gallo is more of a traditional mass before Christmas, and it happens. It's scheduled early mornings.
December 16 starts
Yeah.
December 16.
And then I remember like when I was younger, there's priests who are, because for me, I think we have like different we envision our days differently than other people. And then me as a student, before I want to at least have to sleep after this mass before I go to school. But there are times where as a priest like it's a dawn mass, so maybe it starts 4 a.m. and then if they keep it like in an hour, maybe I can sleep maybe another hour and then go to school, maybe 30 minutes. But there's some priests who, like when they do dawn masses, they take like maybe 30 minutes. So it ends like maybe almost 6 now, because of course when you do communion, there's a lot of people, it takes more time. So when you go home, it's already like, bright outside already. So it will, and I think that's what his thing, he wants to, start the day with that. And then, but yeah, like we have different people envision their day differently. So in a way, I was like, hey, come on, who's the priest today? Is him? Oh no,
get me out of here.
30 minutes.
Usually that the older priest will
like, dude, man,
do that.
Read the room. Get us out of here. We love you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Please, can we go home? I grew up Presbyterian, which is similar to Catholic, but slightly different. But we would call it a sermon. And the sermon would always be 15, 20 minutes.
And then that's it?
Yeah, that was it. But it was always the same amount of time. But it was always long. Like as a kid, sitting through it, like...
No, if you're a kid, it's long for you.
Imagine if you're a Catholic kid, if it's an hour, it's like a day.
No, I mean, like the whole service was an hour. But like the preacher had like
preacher, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like a story, like, or, his like message that he wrote for that week. It would always be like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's hard to sit.
But now I would love that, man, to hear a live podcast every week at church, basically.
It is kind of like that, right?
Well,
a podcast
yeah.
is like a stand-up.
Well, it really depends. It really depends on the priest, because there's like priests that I like really enjoy listening, and then I don't mind it to be long because it's like a stand-up comedy too, like a priest with a good sense of humor. It's like, oh my god, this is so, and then like, oh my god, that's already like, he's already done. And even though it's long, it's like, it's short.
I could be a good priest. I could do some sermons.
Yeah. Good. If you go like Father Adam. I mean, the name's already like sounds, already.
Father Adam.
Yeah, but that's the thing with priests, right? Because there's people who are like, oh, I don't want to be Catholic anymore. The priests are like blah blah blah, and then you say like there are people too. There are like good priests. They're like good.
Yeah.
I think it was the same for let's say preachers or pastors, right? There should be like pastors like, oh, you respect them so much, they're so good and like speaking, and then there's for sure there's like people who are like, you're not really that. You're not like if you could pick someone else, you would pick someone else. It's kind of like that with priests too. Like there's priests who are like, I'm so fascinated how they talk. Like there's like priests, like when I was younger, they do the homily, like, oh, this guy's really good. Like maybe at that time of my life, that sort of speaking like fascinates me. So that's why it's good. Like it's not the same for all priests, but yeah, so yeah, it's very common where like people have like, oh, this is my favorite priest, like even though you don't know what the homily is, or even though you already know the gospel, like you're fascinated for him speaking his take on this stuff. Yeah, but they always like shuffle. In Catholics, right? They shuffle the priest shuffle for years.
I think we had a few alternates, but it was mainly the same guy every time.
Yeah. When I was in college, I go to mass almost like I would say every day, and I remember, I was the person back then.
Now you're just a sinner.
I go like every day, and then there's this priest. I was like, he was like my favorite priest of all. And I always ask like who's gonna preside a mass, and then if like the person like that's in the office and the campus ministry would say, "Oh, it's this priest, it's Father blah blah blah." It's like, oh my god, that's my favorite. I always make sure that I attend that mass.
Yeah.
Like for other mass, it will be like just a normal mass, but if he's the if he's the presiding priest, I'll get so excited.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good. We got to find. I mean, we're gonna get back to church once the girls get a little older. They wouldn't sit there for the whole time.
I can go. You stay with the kids.
Oh, you can go. Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying the girls need to go too.
Or you can do some of those parents who, one of the parent is outside with the kids and then they go back inside again. So they sit close to the exit. So for, it's just so in case like one of the kids, goes, want to walk out, want to like cry, you just immediately like, oh, you step out from it. You don't want to disturb.
Yeah, we did that. We did
that with Izzy, but not with two girls. Yeah. We haven't done that with two girls yet. And I think you're right, Louis. We got to be right by that exit door because we're going to be up and down. Like there's, what do they call them? The ushers. We'll be like, oh, sit up here, sit up here. Like, no.
Ushers is only... That's an American thing. We don't have ushers in.
In America we have people that like help you to
just sit in.
There it is now, but it's more for the communion. They have which is very useful though in communion because it's a line and then people cut. Like of course like
line communion.
People cut in line communion.
But like before the start of the mass, they don't like usher you to where you will sit. People can just
that usher,
anywhere. But during communion, there's like the minister that will like try to organize it.
Mm-hmm.
The ushers are
people cut in communion.
That dude.
So you're in between, like you shouldn't. It shouldn't piss you off because you're at mass. But in your mind, also like you shouldn't do that because you're at mass. Come on, like you're.
Dude, you cut in mass, like you already have some confessions to make by the time you get up.
You should try to like go to mass where it's like a novena mass. So, like for example,
it's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people like the novena mass. It takes like, I don't know, 20 minutes to like complete, maybe.
I just want to get to the point where I can eat a biscuit. I have to be Catholic to do that?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Catholic.
So how do I become Catholic? Is that a dumb question?
You have to convert.
I think baptized.
You have to be baptized.
Oh, okay.
But there's some catechism needed for you to be like.
But I've been baptized before, just not as Catholic.
Well,
matter?
What? No, you have to be baptized within the Catholic Church.
Within the Catholic Church, okay.
For the communion, for the communion,
Do y'all do it when y'all are babies?
Usually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, usually for babies, and then
I don't remember mine, but
there's a confirmation after when you're maybe. It's different.
Oh, there's
school.
There are sacraments. I don't know if the confirmation in your church
I got
counts
confirmed
for
when I was 13.
Counts. I think you have to do confirmation again for the Catholic Church.
They give you like a certificate.
Because they give you the. I mean, it's just the same like the lectures sessions before. Same with baptism, right? I think when you're baptized, there's some maybe did like the church give you something. I think there's the catechism like right before the baptism. It's not really long. It's more like teaching your role of the godfather, role of the that's what they do in baptism. But I think for confirmation they also do some lectures on it. Like why are you doing? At least you know why you're doing it. Like it's more like that kind of a teaching.
Wow. Well, I is the vibe in the Philippines like? Are people excited about this Pope? Is there a general feeling?
I know because of it's because what I read is all they treat it like a pageant, right? There's even jokes like, Wow, our Cardinal is just first runner up, guys. Don't like, they're making a joke.
We were
God, it's just we're in the top 5, but we're only first runner up. It's funny, but
yeah.
it's funny. It's funny, but I'm thinking
we-
like, come on, guys, come on.
they were really rooting hard for the Cardinals
Mm-hmm.
from the Philippines. I think he was one of the top 5.
So, yeah, that was a joke. Oh, he's just first runner up because he's in Vatican, right? I think Cardinals were called there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to guess, I think it's for the succession, right? I think it's for like I think even when Pope Francis was, I think years before, maybe 2 years before he died, he called like cardinals into and then gave them I think like roles in there. I think Cardinal Tagle also was one of them. So I think that's why people were like, oh, maybe he's probably one of the people that are eyed to be next pope, right? So I think the same thing with this Pope Leo the 14th. He was called in 2023 to the Vatican to do some I don't know what stuff they do, but yeah, maybe lead some. So I think it's part of their just to see who's a good successor to the Pope.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him. He's a White Sox fan.
Of course.
Lula said it took the Pope 2 days to be elected. It took Shador Sanders 3 days to get drafted.
Yeah, it was funny how you've seen AI videos about that now. Because you've seen when the new Pope walked out, right? He walked out there and there were 2 other people and he was waving like his first like walk out as a Pope. There's actually AI videos of when he was like speaking. They made AI videos of him saying like, in Chicago we blah 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 like when and then he was so shitting on the sports team and all. And it was so good, like it was funny, but I was like, that this could really fool people.
I know. It's going to fool some 80-year-old person sitting in their house like, I can't believe what's happened. Why would they elect this person? Yeah, I think I saw something like that as I was scrolling through Instagram.
There's a lot. And it's so good now. They even made him dance. It was like, because he was waving and then they made an AI where it's like he was like, like doing this and then the other, like, oh, come on, guys. But it was so good. Like the AI was so good where it's so, like I said, it's so scary. Like how much can it be more? Because if you see that, you didn't know anything about AI, you would think like, oh, why are they dancing? And then even like the one I'm singing is earlier, like Papa, because the Pope is from America, right? So that was like Papa Americano, Papa Americano. Like, oh, come on. It's funny, but at least have some.
Come on, like, it's gonna happen though. You can't stop the internet.
Yeah, you can't stop it. Yeah,
Pope
I was
Leo
fascinated. There's a lot of people there in the square. Like we see the videos. Like there's people in there like having their own flags. It's like a sports event.
Yeah, it is kind of like the
before.
World Cup. Yeah.
Harry Styles.
And then when
don't know Harry Styles, not you. Whatever.
It was fascinating because when they say, "Oh, the smoke is white," and then the people are cheering. So it's really like a sports event.
Yeah.
There, because the smoke is white, so people are like celebrating already. Like it's so fun to watch.
I think the people are excited about the smoke.
Yeah,
more
it's pretty
than
cool.
the actual like who is the new Pope. I think excited. I was like, hopefully it's a white smoke.
It's pretty awesome, and like it's just like I think there's a fascination. Certainly not the same, but it's similar to the English monarch fascination.
The royalty, right?
The royal family,
the queen and stuff. Yeah,
because you're seeing. I think I said it last podcast. Like you're witnessing history. Yeah, something that's been relatively unchanged for thousands of years or hundreds of years, and that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it's older than the monarchy. It's descendant of Saint Peter.
I thought it was descendant of.
What?
I was gonna make a bad joke.
You're gonna make a joke.
But anyway, no, I think it's
Peter. Yeah,
Pete.
Yeah.
He goes by Pete for short.
Yeah.
Or if you were cool with him like me, I'd be
Pedro.
Pete.
Yeah. I think he goes for Rock before Pete, right?
Yeah.
You can call him the Rock.
The Rock. Pete. The Rock.
Because he's the cornerstone.
Yeah.
So, but it's Leo the 14th.
14th, yeah.
Because
and they say it's a big thing though. That how, like the name they choose is they say it's a big thing because it means their personality or their way of thinking the same as that pope. So I think it's more on the, because it's the Leo the 13th is, if you have to like see what he did, and then like the new pope will see himself through that. I think I that's interesting for me, because I've only read that. That's the first time I've heard about it. Like, so what's his new name as a pope gonna be? Because it's a big thing of how he envisions the church or stuff. Like, oh, there's actually this thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
I don't know.
So it
It's
actually
like-
matters.
So there's
Yeah.
13 other
It's
Leos
like it's
that
like
existed.
maybe.
Should be, yeah, because it's like Pope John II, right? There's the first one. Yeah.
Crazy. 30.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, it's like in music, you know, you have a influence
Yeah.
in music style.
Yeah, I'm the
Be like-
Beatles too.
Yeah.
What?
So if you're gonna make a new song, you're gonna hearing the Beatles
What are your music influence?
Yeah.
influence.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
gotta be my music.
So yours would be
Yeah.
like Boys to Men 2
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. There's gonna be like what do you call this? Like a monologue before the song. Like, babe, there's gonna be that. Yeah, I miss you so much. And so, yeah, there's this big thing in the in the, in
Boys
the
to Men.
90s, right? Yeah.
You know I broke the body for your Christ. Baby. Go and drink the blood.
We belong together.
Or
And you
NYMP.
know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to look up for. I just seen it in one of the YouTube videos. Like Pope Leo the 13th was this one. He's focused more on the they call this the theology, blah 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 blah. So most likely that's also the focus of this Pope. So yeah, it's interesting. It's fun to have those stuff.
Isn't monarchy also like that? The way they're naming.
Oh yeah,
their
the
kids,
Elizabeth,
right? Like,
Yeah, I mean the Windsor family totally made up their name like around the early 1900s because they thought it sounded more English.
okay.
Oh, so, probably different.
Because there's Elizabeth
Objectives.
II, right? Like, she was like in the early
I think
90s.
they're actually their names. I don't know.
Yeah, but like what I meant was they're
named
naming
after-
their kids after.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
not gonna have
royalty?
names like Braden or Braxton. It's gonna be like it's
Like
gonna be
George. It's
George.
gonna be
yeah.
George.
They're not gonna be
George,
nice names.
Philip, those royal names.
Harry, John.
Yeah, no one's gonna write like
Harry John. Harry Dick.
Yeah.
Dick Harry.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably, but yeah. That's the first time I heard about the Pope. That how they choose is
I
actually
know. I got your
Thought
joke.
yes.
Sorry,
That's
go
how
ahead.
they create the names.
Yeah. So it's similar.
So what would be your Pope name? You have a Pope name in mind, Louis?
No, because the thing that comes to mind just maybe the Francis one sounds good.
Francis.
Because the Francis is about peace. That's the prayer of Saint Francis, right?
Yeah.
It's a song. That's why it's more memorable. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's one. Maybe I'll change my mind when I
It's a song is also
if I get like,
If you get to the Pope papal,
like Saint Francis
papacy.
of Assisi is like a very big name in Catholic.
I think
in
he's
the church.
the philosopher one, right? I think he's also the philosopher.
Yeah,
Francis, yeah.
but he's also a saint. I don't know. Like he was he was very rich. His family was very rich. He gave it all up and chose to become
Yeah, I mean,
poor.
because I
and
think he's
living in
yeah.
simplicity and
that's very respectable.
humility. Yeah, yeah.
Because I think that's I was fascinated by him because he's rich, right? And then he gave it
Yeah.
up. And I think he's the if I'm not mistaken, he's the philosopher. So he actually
Saint
how
Augustine
philosophers
is
do,
the
right?
Philosopher, I think. Saint,
Was it Augustine? Because
Saint
it's
Augustine.
he was trying to prove God through philosophy. I think that's what through religion. So that was fascinates me with him because I think in there are certain times where people prove God doesn't exist, right? They philosophize. If God exists, why is there hunger? Why is there, I think there's a certain time where people, and then they make essays about that. So they make write a
Yeah.
paper. I think there's one. He's one of the say. Is it Augustine who were
Saint Augustine was a theologian
the
and a
the
philosopher.
immovable mover, something like that. The immovable mover. So there should be God because there should be the source of all. So it's more of a he was appealing to intellectuals rather
Wow.
than
Yeah,
God.
I think that was Saint Augustine.
Augustine. I was
Moving
Augustine.
forward.
Saint Francis.
You definitely win some people over there if you're willing to debate.
That level of you're debating at people with that level of intellect too. So I think that
That
So
always
let's say
comes down
Augustine,
to, no matter how many.
Yeah. Saint Francis was an Italian mystic, poet, and Catholic friar. That's what it is. Yeah, I remember Saint Augustine because that from my college. It's Augustinian, so we have to like know about the life of Saint Augustine, and that's why we thought that he was a philosopher and an intellect.
I'm wearing the Augustine shirt. But if you think about religion and philosophy and science, if you use that as like a triangle of research, they're all connected in a way because you can start with philosophy, which will lead you to science. And if you go down the science rabbit hole long enough and you keep asking why, you will ultimately come to the point where the scientists are like, well, it just is.
you become philosophical. Philosophical.
Why is it like that? It's because of religion. It's because of God. So then you go back in the circle of things to.
I think you have, that's why you have to study theology when you become a priest.
So you know how to explain those stuff too. You know how to. You don't get confused because I think if you didn't study theology, you get lost and then you become. I know you identify now as philosopher, not theologian.
And then you become Sam Harris.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
Jordan
those
Peterson.
Intellectual. He's an atheist. Did he say he's an atheist? I think he said he's an atheist, right? Sam
That's
Harris.
the thing about atheists, like you can be an agnostic. Is that the word? But to be atheist, to be so sure that there is nothing, that's almost crazier than thinking that there's something, because how could there be nothing if there's something already? What? Another crazy thought is like everyone obsesses over what happens after you die. If you flip it, it's even crazier to think what happened before you were born. Like if you think about your own existence, your own consciousness. Oh my God, what happens when I die? Well, what were you before you were born? There was nothing. So before and after. You know what I'm saying? That your life is bookended by nothingness, or not, or perceived nothingness, or unclear. Oh, maybe there's a good opportunity to tell the story that I saw of the two twins that were in the mother's womb. Right? So the two twins in the mother's room.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think I've seen that reel in but go ahead. Yeah.
Well, then I'll summarize it really quick. They were speculating on what happens after they're born. Similar to like the way that we're on Earth speculating on what happens after we die. So we may all be in phases that we're just unsure of. But
I know. Did guys have you seen that reel? Maybe you can just tell. Like, it was fascinating.
He showed me that reel. He made sure
that
I watched that reel.
Yeah, it
was good because it was like
I knew what he used to.
Like, do you believe in life after the womb? It's like, no, there's nothing after the womb. There's surely it's nothing. He's the atheist, and then the other one was like, but we don't think we're gonna meet mother. It's like mother doesn't exist. There is no mother. Prove that there's mother. Like I can't see mother. I've never met mother. Like which is obviously related to someone doubting that God exists. Then the other one's like, I feel mother all around me. I feel, maybe when we get out, life is better than the womb. It's like, nothing's better than this. This is the best our existence will ever be. And it's like, what if we leave the womb and we can do things that we can't even imagine, like walk and talk and eat things and breathe and love someone else? It's like, no, that's foolish. The womb is all that we'll ever know, and that's it. And after the womb, there's nothing. And obviously, these babies are born and they realize, oh my gosh, there is something after that. So here we are on the earth together now, having the same argument of what's next. Yeah. Well, maybe it's something that we can't conceive yet, like every other stage of our existence. Our minds are just smart enough to not know enough, to stay, just smart enough to not know, and to be aware that we don't know.
Yeah, we'll never
That's
know.
a crazy, like, it's a frustrating thing to be like, oh, I just like a limit my brain of what I can understand. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with whatever happens at the end of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least I think I am.
Do you want to like play the sound like an end of a That's how you close it. That's how you close it.
And if Pope Leo wants to be a guest on our podcast,
we're sure.
Totally open to that.
Open invitation.
Open
if
invitation.
You're not busy, if you have if you have a downtime being a pope,
probably a little busy now. But it is an open invitation. We are a Catholic podcast. So.
You can, we would love to have you on Pope Leo the 14th. It's an invitation. Yeah, it would be funny if you would get an email like, "Oh, the Pope actually, wow, really wants to."
Our podcast views would go like from literally like single-digit view numbers to
maybe 1 million. Then afterwards, it goes back to single digit again. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, the Pope isn't a frequent guest? It's like, no, it's a one thing.
I don't think. Yeah, it would be crazy if popes do podcasts now. Because presidentiables do that. I don't think Pope's gonna do.
Oh, he's gonna be on Joe Rogan next week, actually.
It would be funny, and then I don't know. I don't think the Pope has the time to do that. Have and other problems.
I don't know how well other popes speaks English. Like, I don't know if Pope Francis was very articulate with English, but since he is American, Pope Leo, then it will be, if he goes to this podcast and be a guest, there's no language barrier. So it's like really.
I think the American Catholic people are very excited. I would say.
It would actually maybe bring people back to church, if that's a good thing.
I'll go to church on Sunday and see what happens.
Go to church and record it on your phone. Like, live stream it.
Like, it might be no series. Everyone's there.
People coming with American flags.
It's the first people are gonna celebrate. Right? It's the first Sunday of like him becoming a pope, so it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. He's from Chicago. He's from Chi-Town. Mm-hmm. And someone else said that Barack Obama is no longer the most famous person from Chicago in the world. Officially.
I even heard like some people joking like, is there a quote saying like nothing good ever comes out of Chicago or something? I think there's a but it was a person from Chicago who's telling that joke. So if I think it's
their sports teams are not doing well.
Well, they're winning at the Pope run. So they won there.
The Pope they have the papacy.
Anyway. Oh well, 120.
Yeah, 120. I was gonna ask if you've seen the Met Gala, but I don't think you want to spend time on it. I didn't get how it's like a fashion event, right? It's Met Gala, but
no, I didn't catch that.
I did follow it a little bit. It was
Was it good?
Yeah, it was in honor of like black
that was controversial,
designer,
right?
And I think there's some controversy. I think a little bit.
I think with Lisa there was a that's what her because she was
wearing underwear or somebody
with like, no, she was Rosa Parks is like on her like
under like
it's not even
crotch.
A dress, but like
because her entire wardrobe was that, right? It's like images of what do you call this, significant figures in Black History. I think that's how I understand it. But I think the thing was it was the same design on her, like it's
The
not an
crop
underwear, but he
area.
was like wearing like an underwear, right? Because it was there, and then it was in her crotch. I think someone actually has a picture. Wow, that's the level of detail you can get in pictures now is crazy because it was zoomed in, and then Rosa Parks was I think right next to her, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
I was,
that was
which
Come
I
on.
didn't think it was her fault. You know, it was probably the designer's fault, or maybe that's what I don't know, their
yeah. I mean,
objective was for the
I can
controversy.
see
Yeah,
having it like on your upper body, but having it down there, it's
yeah. Why would you have the
not good,
same?
not a good look.
Damn, Rose, come on. They're gonna tear her down, aren't they? After that White Lotus.
I don't know.
No, but Lisa is so big though. Not
Yeah,
only
so big.
in maybe not in the U.S. but
Yeah,
in other
yeah, all
parts,
over the
especially in Asia.
world. Asia.
They're really big.
Like
She's really
it's funny to me. Like someone like was talking about her in a podcast. Like this girl from White Lotus, and I was like, no, she's not that. Like the White Lotus thing was just an extra thing. She's
Yeah.
like a pop star, like a very
I know in America,
big
people
pop
don't seem to know
star.
who she is.
Yeah,
she's a
like she's like very. It's a
Blackpink
big thing.
is
Yeah, they're a big thing.
Wow.
But I don't know. Maybe it's part. I think it's Pharrell who designed it, right? Pharrell. He designed it for Louis Vuitton, and then that's the
Oh really?
yeah, he did. So I don't know if it was accidental. He knew about it. I think he would know, right? Because he designed it, and then maybe he was not really thinking about that much. It's gonna be an issue. Yeah. At least where we're talking about it, people are talking about it. I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. Are people gonna hate her? I don't think so. I
Well,
don't think so.
well,
No, this is one of
bad
those things
publicity is
people
still
pass on.
publicity. So
Yeah, it's a
People will
city.
move on from
But-
this.
Lisa didn't. Yeah, she doesn't need it
course she-
anyway.
I mean,
She doesn't need the publicity.
She lost
she's
me
so
as a fan.
Famous,
Sorry.
yeah.
I'm out.
Okay.
I was
yeah.
gonna go to her show too. I just canceled it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I mean, I only knew her from White Lotus until the people from White Lotus explained what you
I
explained. Louis.
pointed it out to you. It was like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
Somebody-
girl is
Yeah.
very famous. Did you know that she is part of
Yeah.
Black?
Yeah, you said that, and
And
I was like, I don't know. Or you said there's a member of Blackpink that's in White Lotus. I was like, I think it's this one girl.
Because I haven't seen it at
It's
that
gotta
point. I was like,
I even heard they had problems with security in shooting those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was the most expensive person to have on set because of all the security
Yeah.
they had to come in with, and they had to shoot her scenes separate from everyone else. And that they only had like 3 weeks to shoot with her.
and it's only a very minor.
She's
Role,
honestly her role is like worthless. No offense. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason for her to be there.
Well,
It's probably hard to develop her role because they know we're only gonna have her for 3 weeks. Security is gonna be a nightmare. We probably have to, and if things go wrong, you can't like depend the story on her
No,
because it's gonna ruin the entire.
yeah, you sort of have to
Sorry.
be able to
Be-
cut it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was
But
good.
they want the Asian audience though. Maybe that's why they put there.
And it was
there.
in Thailand, so it's like
Mhm.
doubled down on like the Asian attendance. And the show was really good. I will say that.
Yeah,
And, now I'm a Blackpink fan.
Blackpink fan. Yeah,
Met Gala.
Adam's gonna be like, what's her new song though?
Is it?
I don't know.
Boomba, yeah. Boomba, that's a whole song.
Apete, apete. Oh, no, that's Rosie.
Oh, that's Rose. Yeah, they're killing it though. So
they're
Rosie
kind of
killing
like
it.
doing solos as on the side too.
yeah, solo career. Jenny, the famous one. Jenny. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's it's a bit for the Met Gala. I don't really follow that event.
Oh.
Yeah.
Walton Goggins was in the Met Gala. It was
Yeah, he did. He was wearing a dress.
yeah.
I flipped through some of the pictures at one point, but that was my exposure. Well,
People like it
Yeah.
though because like he really gave it justice. Like he twirled. And,
Oh,
like,
that's really good.
Yeah.
I'm
Character.
a fan of his. He's a good guy.
he's
Great
like,
actor.
Yeah, great actor.
That's
But-
good. That's good.
Great. I think it was a great episode.
Yeah, it was. Talk about Pope, new perfection. Talk about new roles
Roles.
in
Roles.
the work.
It's a new. It's the renewal. New things
Yeah.
was definitely the theme here.
New things, embracing imperfections.
Yes.
On some situations, it's better to be fast than perfect, but not all of them. Just
Yeah,
some
they
of
should
them.
have made sure that that. Oh, I ruined the joke. I was like, when they designed her Rosa Parks dress, they should have focused on perfection and not. Anyway,
And not just fast, not just saving cloth. We have this extra Rosa Parks. Where do you want to put it?
just put it on the bottom.
Rosa Parks.
That's where they should have probably slowed down a little bit, but no, keep going. Your
Yeah.
progress.
And what else? And we did talk about the rituals, religious rituals, experiences, and
Yep.
how it's still fascinating to be happening this time, this age,
Conclave.
this
White
year's
smoke.
conclave, white smoke. And maybe just to insert here, like there's also I think there was also a Korean pope that was supposed to be in the list, and then my colleague joked like if he won or he got chosen, it will be K-Pope. So it's a very, I don't know why, I don't want to end this episode without sharing that joke. So when I heard that, like, oh, this is so good. That joke was so good. Like I brought it up. Did you know there was a Korean cardinal that's also, it's a K-Pope. Like, oh, that's so good.
That's a Jimmy Kimmel. Like that's a Jimmy. Jimmy Fallon.
Whoever was the person who started that joke, that's when, I mean, God bless you. It's so good. We didn't have a K-Pope, but maybe in the future, right? We're gonna have a K-Pope.
That's good.
They're dominating the music industry. Now they're gonna dominate the papacy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be like a very good tagline. And one last thing, like before I end, if you can do like maybe 3 seconds looking at the camera, and that's gonna be your face going.
Oh my God.
Like 3, 2, 1, and